So we talked last week about Last of Us episode 4 and touched briefly on episode 5 because a couple folks had watched it because it had just released right before we recorded. So they were able to sneak in a viewing of episode 5. I think we've all caught up on episode 5 by now, right? Is everyone caught up on it?
I'm still on 3.
Oh, yeah.
I finished 3. That was the last one.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we don't have to get to. We never spoil it. I don't think any of our
How are you a
conversations
pony?
have truly.
Unbelievable, dude.
How is this guy?
I'm surprised
even
he's
on
watching
our
it at
show?
all because usually he doesn't watch anything week
That's-
to week.
yes,
so I'm just
exactly.
happy.
Kyle, that's
I'm
true.
happy.
True. That's a good point. I'm happy.
Kyle's keeping it P today,
I
guys.
know,
I
this
like
is
it.
a
I'm
little
over
too
here keeping it
P.
P, guys.
Keeping
Can
it
we
positive.
please shame him, please?
Kyle, thank you
Okay.
for showing us your pee.
Keeping it P. All
I
right, well,
got a good pee.
Warm pee.
I just want to say this, like, for the this is like the halfway point, kind of, because it's a 9-episode show, so not really halfway point, but we're just past the halfway point now,
Yeah.
and we truly have seen the capability of these showrunners and these creators to create a spectacle visually, as well as what they've already been doing with characters and storytelling. That is just, there's nothing like it. Like they've created something that is just top tier. I shouldn't say there's nothing like it, but there's very few other shows like it. I should say that.
Yeah.
And they're just delivering, man. And I thought that the set pieces and the action that they introduced, especially in the final act of this episode, I a couple times was like, "Whoa!" Like I think I said it out
Yeah.
loud as I'm watching it alone. You know,
I said aloud to myself, boy, this show looks expensive. Like maybe 3 times during this episode. Oh, man, this show looks very
Well, that cost
expensive.
a lot.
Kyle's just seeing the dollar signs.
Yeah.
But without spoiling too much, if you saw episode 4, you know we got introduced to some characters from. Even if you followed casting, you know these characters are going to be in here from the game, and Henry and Sam. And I just want to say that I thought the casting for that was perfect. Some of the tweaks they made to those characters were amazing and fit so well. And honestly, I was maybe even more sad this time around as their story unfolded, just because I liked them even more. But I don't know.
Punches are hurting harder in this
They are,
show.
Yeah.
Yeah, they really are.
The
They're really
changes they're making are basically just meant to make you sadder if you played the games.
Yeah,
Like,
for sure.
Yeah,
because it's like I was
really
really
like
sad
like-
about the games, the way that some characters' fates played out. And
Yeah.
now the show is playing those fates out in like a fresh way, even if it's just a minor change, like making
We're adding extra
making
context.
Sam
you know?
deaf. Like,
Yeah.
you're like, what the hell? You're making it sadder. You're making it more
Yeah.
tragic. Like,
I just remember the whole episode. I was like, "Oh, they're making it hurt more. Oh,
Yeah.
they're making it hurt more." Yeah, just like,
Derek, what were you gonna
Well,
say?
I was just gonna say, like, I liked these characters from the game. I thought the characters
too.
were well acted. I
Yeah.
thought they
this
brought
is
lot
this is a
to-
big part of the game.
Yeah.
This is one of the most memorable
and
parts. of the game.
that's what I was gonna say is like their part in the game is definitely a lot, or at least I believe it's a lot longer than Bill's. And even though they're only really in the show for one episode, I didn't feel like they were shortchanged. Like I feel like I got to know them, and then the change was definitely a good change as far as like we were talking about. It gives more of an emotional impact, especially with Sam having his disability and the way they connect, like the way they keep showing. Why am I forgetting her name? Ellie connecting with her and the bond they quickly.
Oh yeah.
Which is, by the way, it's believable. So you know how they'll like force things and rush things and go, "Hey, these two characters really care about each other, and you should care about."
Just buy
them caring
into it
about
because
each
we're
other.
telling you
Please
to.
buy
Yeah.
in. But this is more believable because his disability and the fact that I don't know how you guys are, even though I come across as a jerk. If I meet somebody like that, I'm going to be more empathetic, more sympathetic, and kinder and gentler because those people in general are usually kinder and gentler as well. But I think there's also a part of us, I think it's organic that we feel like almost like I feel bad for that person. So I want to help them or I want to be there for them. And so I felt like that relationship and that bond and the fact that they're just two kids in this terrible world was believable. So then you had that weight there because you now know Ellie really cares about Sam. And spoilers, I'm not going to say it, but if you played the game, you know what's going to happen to Sam. So it did make it harder because I'm like, you guys are making a lot of changes. Why don't you make a change here? You know, I like these guys.
Yeah.
Make a change here.
Yeah.
But I really like that. And then
I was holding out hope, Derek, that they're like one of the things at the end would be like, oh, everything's gonna be okay. Like I don't
maybe
know why.
maybe they'll turn it around. Yeah.
I mean, there was quite the substantial difference with the Bill story there. So
Yeah.
You
So
know.
that's still the biggest deviation yet, and
Yeah.
everything else has been pretty,
has.
maybe elaborated on and maybe some contextual changes and stuff like that. But you're hitting a lot of similar beats in kind of these last couple episodes.
So my friends have a new little friend who is deaf, and so they've been learning sign, and so having a character who, and if you watch the after show kind of behind the scenes, it truly is a
It's a
deaf
deaf
actor
Yeah. Mhm.
who's got an ASL director on set with him, and all the others. They were talking about just briefly. They talk about how everyone on set was learning sign and trying to everyone
It's
wanted to
amazing.
communicate. It's just very kind of a sweet thing to add on, the real life element of this, which I thought was
Yeah.
very cool. So I liked that a lot, but I think so far they've shown us 2 other pairs outside of Joel and Ellie that are foils for them that I think is super interesting. We've had Bill and Frank, where you have Bill as the gruff, like don't let anyone in emotionally protector, and then of course Frank ends up helping him to open up and kind of like be more of a complete human, not just this F everybody, let me live alone. Like, so that was like, that story is now, I know it sounds crazy, but it's making even more sense to me as I'm seeing Joel and Ellie's characters evolve in this TV show. Like, I'm starting to understand a little more of why they did what they did in the show. They're kind of giving us some foils for those two, which I love. Like, takes me back to like literature class in college. It takes me back to those kind of days where they talk about foil characters.
Did you have like a writing degree? Is that
I do.
Like,
do you not have one? Oh my gosh.
you have like an online writing degree,
I definitely don't.
so
But it's
you
just
understand.
it's cool to see that stuff unfold because we got to see, and Frank like brought in lightness and a reminder of enjoying life and enjoying relationship, and that loving is okay. And that's what I think Ellie is to Joel. I thought that was a cool comparison between those two. And now we see it again with Henry and Sam, with their relationship, where you've got the protector and now we're seeing a glimpse of someone who's willing to do whatever it takes and has truly done some dark stuff and betrayed other humans in order to protect someone that they love. They decided, I'm just going to prioritize this person over everyone else, truly prioritize them. So that's another foil for Joel, where it's going to be another element of like, all right, it's okay to open yourself up to love someone again, even though Joel had closed himself off for a good 20 years. He's finally letting himself kind of love someone in that way again. Once a dad, always a dad, kind of. And now he's kind of we got a little picture of, ooh, someone did some crazy stuff to protect someone they love. So it's just these cool little glimpses, man. I love.
You also have Catherine, who's like the leader of that city or whatever, who is so obsessed with getting revenge that she loses everything because of it, which is a kind of a parallel, a kind of Ellie's journey in the second game.
You mean her morality, like how she's just like saying things aloud that straight up a villain would say, because of how much
a lot of children died.
Yeah, exactly. Because just how much revenge is driving her actions, basically.
Yes.
Like she's no longer a person at one point. Yeah, they're really doing a great job with the foreshadowing of the tragedy that all the people that have played the games know that is coming for both Joel and Ellie. By adding all these extra characters that are kind of having similar journeys, but in a different part of the world, or similar moral journeys, I guess.
Yeah,
And did you guys think of the ending and like how it played out?
It was so chaotic, and like it was some of the best chaos that I've ever seen shot. Like especially for a TV show, like it was just. I don't want to give away too much, because I think like seeing is very fun, and if Dan hasn't seen it, probably a lot of people have.
It was a good reminder of the threat they're all facing.
Yeah, like it's
for episode 5.
The threat, the threat has been very like people heavy for a few episodes.
Yes.
It's nice to be reminded, like, hey, there's monsters out there too.
Yes.
So it was a good reminder of that threat, but I also think it was a good reminder, like the very end scene. So as things quieted back down, but then you've got the culmination of Sam and Henry's story. That was a good reminder of like, there's not a whole lot in life for everyone that's still alive to live for, and so if you lose that thing, there's literally nothing left. Like you look around and like everything's desolate and empty, and there's no one and nothing left. So like that hopelessness when you do lose, if you choose to love someone and support each other, and you lose, one of you loses the other one, dude, like that hopelessness rang really strongly at the end there, and you kind of see it in Ellie's journey in that episode too, where you see her kind of become a kid for a little bit, and then that changes by the end again. It's just, I don't know, it's all sad but so well done. So
yeah, I think she's gonna be this one in particular is gonna take a harder toll on her for sure. Maybe even more
was
so
pretty,
than in the game.
The usage of the flip pad at the end actually made me. I actually went. Like
same. I mean, and it's lining up perfectly for what happens with Tommy. You know, where he's all too quick in the game to like dump her on Tommy just ASAP. Like, get this person away from me. You know what I mean? So it's like they set up future things to hurt more too, because the show is just really good at that.
I'm pretty sure based on the trailer, that's this episode.
We have to like it. Just like how many episodes are left and what we need to get to. Like this has to be Tommy.
This is the Tommy thing, and
the next probably
the scene. The scene that we're gonna get with "Don't Tell Me You Have No Idea What Loss Is." Yeah, we're gonna get that whole thing.
Yeah, the preview did show a reuniting of the brothers, which is cool. Looking forward to that.
I'm excited. Tommy's,
I did want to say
that actor's amazing. So
you guys are probably already listening to this. I'm probably way behind on just now catching up on this week, but there is an official Last of Us podcast where Troy Baker interviews Craig Maslin and Neil. I'm blanking out Neil's last name.
Druckmann.
Thank you. I almost said Blomkamp is where my mind went.
Neil Blomkamp.
That'd be a good podcast too.
I would listen to that.
Yeah, I would listen to that. Okay, but anyway,
so direct an episode.
You guys probably listened to this already, but it's just also some really excellent insights into a lot of this stuff, and it helped me confirm, like, are they doing this? Am I right? And I listened to it, and I was like, yeah, this is exactly what they're doing. That's awesome. And just hearing and some of the ideas they had that they tabled, by the way, that alone is worth listening, because some of the things they thought about doing.
I would listen to that. Yeah. I want to hear some of that. Yeah,
I know that
some of the miserable stuff they left off.
You know what? I just want to tell you this one, which I thought was really cool.
Death scene, like in this last episode, that they were like, "Yeah, we can't do that."
yeah, exactly. Oh, by the way, child clicker. That's new and terrifying, right? The way she crawls like a spider, like yikes.
Oh, the Exorcist shit.
The way she kind of like flips over.
She's like a contortionist, but she's like a 5-year-old kid.
She's got like jammies on, so she's got a clicker face. That's terrifying.
That's terrifying.
New nightmare unlocked. Yeah.
One of the ideas that they had actually moved, anyway, they talk about it. I'll describe it in the podcast. It's really good. But they talked about wanting to use the opening menu of the Last of Us games with the open window with the blowing, and they almost wanted to have, for the streaming experience, like press start. Like they thought about having it like the game.
I heard about that. Every episode was going to start on a window,
but it was going to be a different window based on where the show has gone, and like they actually have some footage of different windows, and that came up as they were discussing episode 3 with Bill and Frank's window, the final shot there. But anyway, they talked about how that's such an iconic element to The Last of Us universe, I guess, is this window with the wind blowing the curtains. But anyway, I thought that was that was, to me, that's like, oh, that's a cool creative idea. I can also see why you didn't do that, because that might have been a little too on the nose.
It's gimmicky. It's cool.
It's a little too gimmicky
though.
To me.
Yeah. I enjoy the concept of it. I'm glad they didn't do that.
I think it's the kind of thing you put on a DVD or Blu-ray, I guess, set. Yeah. Put it on there. But not.
Give me all the windows. Give me all the windows.
Yeah. Friggin' loving this show, man. Absolutely loving it. So I'm looking forward to replaying the game on PC again next month too. I'm
replaying it right now, and I'm all the way past the Bill stuff. And there's like a scene where you're traversing through his town or whatever with all like the clickers and stuff like that. And I was like, yeah, this game's still stressful. I'm trying to play it as like my kind of I just want to play something real quick kind of game. And I was like, oh, this ended up being really involving and stressful. So.
Well, it is. By the way, that podcast is cool because they talk a lot about what you can and can't do in a TV show or movie versus a game, where in a game you can't do everything you're doing in a show because your players are going to get bored. They need to push buttons and take action, and there needs to be gameplay. And on the other side, you can't just have nonstop action in a show. You have to develop characters and make you care and have dialogue. So it's really cool to hear these two awesome creators they put their minds together. There's like a mind melt for this thing. It's really neat. It's too bad more of these kind of adaptations can't happen, man. Because
I hope they start happening. Like get Kojima making like a Death Stranding, something like get all these people to
but
direct.
Get him to meld together with someone who is an accomplished TV.
Yeah, like
direct,
Guillermo del
them-
Toro or any of his other buddies
Well,
or something. Yeah.
I mean, Kyle, the Metal Gear movie is finally happening. So
They've been saying that for the last 4 years, and I know the Kong Skull Island guy's attached to it, and I know he's got Seven Sky. I follow all that stuff. It's
Kyle's
so
not buying any of it.
it's so baloney. Like it's never gonna get picked up.
Kyle,
Oscar-
are you delaying it?
Oscar-
Are you delaying
Oscar
it?
Isaac really
Delay.
wants it to happen, dude.
Delay.
He really
And
wants
Oscar
it to
Isaac
happen.
is up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes,
he
Oscar,
got
yeah,
cast-
yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
we'll see. But it sounds like the Death Stranding project is actually moving forward quicker.
Yes. Probably because
Yeah.
I think that's what he cares about right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They'll
Yeah,
probably
yeah.
cast Chris Pratt in there too somewhere.
No,
I
God.
hope
All
so,
right.
please.
Dude,
They
like,
cast Chris Pratt
dude.
instead of the dude Norman
Hold on. Chris
Yeah,
Pratt.
right
No,
there.
Like,
Chris
he's right
Pratt
there.
as
Why
Liquid.
didn't you call me?
As Liquid, yeah. Chris is
yeah,
Liquid.
Kyle. Chris Pratt as Liquid.
I hate
Come
that.
on.
I hate everything
I
about
hate
it.
it.
Yeah.
I hate it so
Liquid.
much.